When my son turned 16, I got a job traveling on the road doing merchandising work. I held on to the job because I found that you could bring on family members, and I knew my son was a hard worker. And not only was he a hard worker, he was a person good at saving his money. So when he graduated, the same night we left out for our first assignment, and he had been working with me ever since. There were slow times when he would have to go back home because there wasn't enough work for everybody, and even then, he was so humble. He would go home and get him another job, and he didn't care what it was, washing dishes, temporary merchandising work. And I was just really proud of the young man he was becoming. So last September, 2020, about a couple of months before he got murdered, we were all in Newport News, Virginia, working. We're very, very rarely home. We might go home a week every 4 or 5 months, if we're lucky. At that point, we had already been gone from home since around July. So from around July to September, we had been traveling, working consistently. My son told me around September 2020 that he had started talking to a pregnant girl that he went to school with. And when he told me that, I was like, son, are you sure you want to date a pregnant girl? And he was like, nah, yeah, I like girls with kids already because they be more mature. Grown man, okay, 21 years old, he got his preferences. Do you? He told me when we got home he was supposed to go on a date with the girl. Now, I guess me and him both were very, very naive because I don't think either one of us believed that somebody that was pregnant would be involved in something like what went on. But unfortunately, it was all a setup. And one of the things that really upsets me about the situation is we was 15 hours away from home. We was over 1,000 miles away from home. We wasn't thinking about nobody at home other than getting back to see our close family members and very limited friends that we do have. And it's just devastating to me that it was like 5 or 6 people plotting. Okay, so we make it home the end of October, first week of November. Now, acquaintance of my son tells me that at a Halloween party, Jalen Lambert was bragging about he was going to rob somebody, but the associate claimed he didn't know that Jalen was talking about my son. At that point, we were still 15 hours away from home. We still shouldn't have been a thought in anybody's minds other than the people that we're close to. But unfortunately, it was some bullshit brewing. We had no idea. So we had been home several days. And my son, he had been living with my mother since he was 16 because I was traveling on the road, and he decided that that's where he was going to stay even as an adult. And I remember telling him, you make good money, you travel everywhere, you can live anywhere you want to live. And he told me he wasn't moving from with his grandmother. Like he said, his exact words was, "I'm not leaving Momo." He loved his grandmother dearly. They had always had a very close relationship, so that was not a surprise to me. So we've been home maybe 2 or 3 days. I cook a lot when I'm home, and anybody knows anything about my son knows he loves my cooking. So when I'm at home, if I'm cooking or I'm grilling, he right there standing ready to assist, open the door, hold the pan, whatever he need to do. And that's one of the reasons why I miss him so much. Like this was a so I hadn't even thought about he was supposed to be going on a date with that girl again or any of that. But November the 4th around 6 p.m. I had texted him and told him that I had cooked. And knowing that he'd be on his way, but he texted me, he said, well, put me a plate up. And so that let me know that he wasn't going to be there, anytime soon. So I laid down to take a nap. About 12:28, I woke up, and I just knew when I woke up that he was gonna be in the front room, laying on my couch, holding my little dog. And when he wasn't there, I texted him. I said, "Son, where you at?" No, I said, "What happened to you?" I texted him, "What happened to you?" It was about 12:28 then. He didn't respond or call me back. And I kind of started, getting up, moving around, cleaning, just busying myself really. And about 12:45, 46, my phone rang, and it was my mother, and I answered my phone. And she was frantic. She was shaking. She was screaming. She said something had happened. She didn't understand what was going on. She started screaming my son's name, and she said she could see fire coming out of his window. I stay a few minutes away from my mother, so of course that set my household into chaos. We all were running, trying to get together, get us. So it took me maybe 3 minutes to get there because I stay fairly close to my mother, and I ran red lights. I mean, I was trying to get there. By the time I got there,